sake of argument, if we're playing in season 1, every character that you'd make, let's say you're playing your sorceress first, and you go find a whole bunch of werewolf, druid, based aspects as you're playing. When you go and you want to build a new werewolf character or a new druid character, you have all those aspects to play with from level 1 as soon as you want to start kind of like leveling up gear and getting into a position where you can make use of them.
That's
we
right.
love this idea of like making it so it's easier to go play with other builds.
Yeah, I love too how we've really been thinking about crafting in Diablo 4, and I love how the occultist figures into that crafting, right? Because, when we think about legendaries in Diablo 4, what we're really talking about is the legendary power. And that legendary power can be moved around. You can use it to upgrade rares, and the occultist is sort of the central point of all of that crafting loop.
That's absolutely right. So that was one big change we add with, and we've talked about in previous blogs before. But one big change in Diablo 4 is allowing legendary powers of a particular type to roll on lots of different item slots, which gives players an interesting game of deciding where they want to place certain powers to make the maximum use of them for their builds. Now, the Codex lets them put them on the slots that are appropriate for that power. They can choose, right? But another limitation for the Codex power, in addition to not actually having the ability to collect all of legendary powers in the game, there's many, many more for you to find as you're playing through Diablo 4. Those powers also are always rolled at the lowest level of power possible. So it is always better for you to go find a legendary item that has the power that you're interested in, and then you can choose to use that item directly or extract the power from that item into an aspect crystal to then go in and print into your own item of your choosing. So those legendary items you find out in the world are always going to end up being more powerful as a general rule.
Yeah, I really like the idea that no matter what, finding stuff is still going to lead to potentially the best opportunity of getting the most amount of power, but you still have the customization ability of being able to, I found this power, I would still like to use this on another piece of gear and add that within the Codex of Power, and you still can.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's great about it. Exactly to that point is that you can have, let's say that you are leveling up and you get a legendary power that you really love, and you start to sort of make your build around it. With the Codex of Power, you can acquire new gear, and in fact through essences as well. And you can extract, you can bring that power with you, so you can maintain that build. So you're not losing a core part of your build as you're getting new gear.
Yeah, and the fun thing about this is that we do want players at the beginning to go through their class fantasy. They're making their skill tree selections. They're going deeper and deeper into this. They're making their fun choices. We do want them to be able to still want to chase certain other powers. Like, for example, for this, kind of like melee focused lightning build, the player here is spitting it right now. Like, there are other powers that they really, really want for this build. Like, there's a lightning bolt legendary that is going to allow lightning warp legendary. It's going to allow them to have the sphere basically orbit around them as part of combat, which, as you can see, would be awesome when they're teleporting into packs of monsters trying to deal damage when they're up and close and personal. So there's lots more things for that lightning sword to collect as they're going through, and then hopefully find the very best versions of those legendary powers as well as just find it in the first place.
Yeah, so I know with the Codex of Power, this is kind of a new feature that's coming in Diablo 4, and we'll have more information and more details regarding different.
And an aspect in the Codex of Power is effectively a legendary power that's been put in this very particular form. And every one of these dungeons that players progress through in the overworld has a unique legendary power via the aspect found inside of them.
Yeah. What I love about that is that you can create a new character, and you can look at some of the powers that are available through these dungeons and say, okay, I really want to target this power. I'm going to go to this dungeon, get that power. So you're less dependent on I hope this power drops.
Absolutely. So there are limitations in place, but Joe, to your point, that is basically the intent here, right? Is to give players some manner and measure of control over the nature of their build as they're beginning to go through those steps. But the Codex of Power is a way for them to basically take these aspects, and then they're able to go back to a crafter back in one of the major cities, our new occultist crafter, actually. And when they go to the occultist, they can hand off actually, we're showing it right now. Our sorcerer's friend has just earned aspect of overwhelming bolts, which is going to allow her charge bolts ability to go and fire 2 more projectiles with each cast. She's going for an up close and personal melee lightning build. So this shotgun approach for her spender is going to be really, really useful. More bolts, more damage, definitely very good. Minor trade-off for the mana cost, but still what ends up being worth in the end. Here we can see that the sorceress is now heading over to the occultist and is going to be choosing to imbue this aspect into one of their existing items. So she takes the item. So you're looking at a lot of work in progress stuff that we're looking at here because this is a live cast. We'd like to be able to show some things off. You have an opportunity to go and basically override the existing legendary power on this and put in the new power they've just collected to the Codex of Power. Mm-hmm. So in this way, players get this deterministic way to kind of collect a series of these legendary powers that are out there in the game for them to find, but it's not all of them. You can only find some of the legendary powers overall in the game. There are over 120 dungeons in the game. So this represents like a lot of really exciting and interesting things for you to collect as you're going through these areas. You don't just find legendary powers for your class. You'll find legendary powers for all of the classes as you go, and some ones that can work on multiple classes as well. And then we think this is really cool because every time you find an aspect through one that you can put into your Codex of Power, this is now available to all characters in that realm. So.
I need more time. It's true.